All right. Good morning, everyone, and welcome to our sanctuary service this morning. Let me get us through for those that join us every week and those that are new. Thank you for coming. I'd like to give a little refresher around Sanctuary. So Sanctuary Church is a 508c1a faith-based organization. We use psilocybin mushrooms as a sacrament to connect us to divinity. It is our sincere belief that the consumption of psilocybin-containing mushrooms is a communion which brings us closer to what is commonly called God. We understand this concept as pure consciousness, which permeates all being. This pure consciousness is, we believe, the ineffable source of creation and the origin of health and well-being. Our faith in sacred mushrooms stems from prehistorical use by our ancestors and personal experiences of our modern members. It is our belief that psilocybin-containing mushrooms are one of the greatest sacraments that nature offers, raising our awareness so that we can access a direct connection to the source of life. We should not be mistaken for a medical or therapeutic organization. We strongly encourage anyone facing trauma, recovery, or mental health issues to work in conjunction with a psychiatrist, psychologist, or accredited therapist. Our objective is to help and support you in reconnecting with the universal source of healing, your own divine spirit. As we get ready to begin today's service, we ask that you mute your mics if they are not muted already. We want to let you know this meeting is being recorded, which if you have any questions about, feel free to reach out privately. A portion of this service, we will invite you to journal. So now is a good time to grab a notebook and pen if you'd like to participate in that. Please do, if possible for you, find a comfortable space where you can relax and be present for the service. The service portion of our gathering is around 30 minutes of silent participation on your part, during which time we will begin with a short meditation. We'll read the poem which the church has adopted as our acknowledgement of oneness with all that is, titled A Litany of Gratitude. A reading from our rotating text, Currently Dry Those Tears, along with an opportunity to journal your thoughts around the reading, and a reading from our main text, the Tao Te Ching. After that, we'll bring the official service to a close, and from there we'll move into an optional discussion period led by Derek and Emma today, which we've allotted an hour and a half for until noon, and we do invite you to participate if you feel called. With that, we'll begin our service by again welcoming you, everyone that's been able to join us this morning. Thank you. Our sanctuary, thank you for joining us in celebration this morning. As we begin our statement of faith, we recognize that this statement does not exhaust the full extent of our faith. We believe that sacred mushrooms are a primary source of personal and divine revelation. We seek counsel from the mushroom to find direction and inspiration in our faith practice. And we believe that all individuals who seek true revelation from divinity can do so. Now I'll invite Emma to lead us in our meditation this morning.
Good morning. I'm actually going to do it today. I stole it from Emma. Nice haircut, Athena. I like your haircut. All right. So as the slide says, I invite everybody to kind of get into a nice relaxed position. I had this image of all of us kind of like shimmying about trying to get into our relaxed position. It kind of reminds me of a cat. You know how cats do this on their little bed right before they're going to sleep. So kind of do your little cat movements to get into that position. And start to notice your breath. Let your eyes gently close. Bring your awareness inward. This service being 2 hours long can sometimes feel a little mentally heavy. So for the meditation today, I'm going to invite stillness in. try to talk less. Notice the space. And if your mind wanders, bring it back to the breath, which is an anchor. If the mind is resistant to being still and it's active or overactive, try to focus on a part of your body that needs your attention right now. And imagine focusing energy or light or whatever you want to that part of your body. Notice the space between breaths, the space between my words. The space between the atoms that make up your body. It's often said that the space between stimulus and response is where we have control, where we have influence in our lives. One way to increase that space is by practicing this. This is a space to practice curiosity and let go of judgment. Where does the ego go when we are still? Where does the critical mind go when it has nothing to think about? What comes up when we're not distracted with everyday life? Perhaps it's something you're pretending not to know. Perhaps it's a doorway for inspiration and ideas to enter you. And while it can be most fun to do this as a group, this can be done alone just as easy. At a red light, which is the space between driving, waiting in an office for a meeting, talking with a friend, enjoying a meal, taking a walk. Start to enjoy these last few conscious, intentional breaths as you come back to your body. Come back to the body-mind. Start to slowly wiggle and softly open your eyes. And let's enjoy a wonderful service together. Grateful for you all to be here.
Thank you, Derek. And now I invite you to unmute your mics. If you'd like to join me while reading our litany of gratitude when I say, we live in all things live in us. We live by the sun, we feel by the moon, we move by the stars. We live in all
things, and all things live in us.
We eat from the earth, we drink from the rain, we breathe of air. We live in
all things,
all things
all things
live in
live in
us.
us.
We call to each other, we listen to each other, our hearts deepen with love and compassion. We live in all
things,
all
all things live in us.
We depend on the trees and animals. We depend on the earth. Our minds open with wisdom and insight. We live in
all things,
All
things live in us.
We dedicate our practice to others. We include all forms of life, celebrate the joy of living and dying. We live in
all things,
all things
things
live in
live in
us.
us.
We are full of life. We are full of death. We are grateful for all beings and companions. Thank you, everyone. If you'd like to mute your mics back. I invite Brandy to do our first reading.
Good morning. Dry Those Tears, Chapter 4. Eternal life is a quality of consciousness to be experienced now. It depends not upon length but depth. When we live deeply, we are not concerned about the body, time, or anything else. Eternal life is our own here and now. Someday we shall leave the body in which we live, but that will not trouble us. Since God is life, as Jesus said, and since our life is God's life, we are made in God's image. How then can we ever die? Can God die? Can a part of God's image be lost? Is the body the human, or is it an instrument which we use? John Quincy Adams was met by a contemporary on the streets of Boston on his 80th birthday and was asked, "How is my friend John Quincy Adams?" He answered in words that have since become classic. "John Quincy Adams himself is very well, thank you, but the house he lives in is sadly dilapidated. It is tottering on its foundations, the walls are badly shattered, and the roof is worn. The building trembles with every wind, and I think John Quincy Adams will have to move before too long, but he himself is very well." Thus it is with the physical body. When it's no longer a fit instrument for the soul, it dies and returns to the elements from which it came. But from within, the spiritual being, the real being, rises not out of a tomb, but from around the body. The soul keeps the same essential identity and the same spiritual individuality. Only the outer cover, the integral atoms, have changed.
Thanks, Brandy. Now, like to take 5 minutes and reflect on the reading. Describe yourself in both a physical and spiritual sense. You are a reflection of God, made in the image and likeness of God. What does this being that you describe tell you about God? Set the timer for 5 minutes to reflect. to take a moment to finish up your thoughts for today. Invite Kevin to help us with our next reading.
Good morning. It'll be Tao Te Ching, chapter 44. As for your name and your body, which is the dearer? As for your body and your wealth, which is the more to be prized? As for gain and loss, which is the more painful? Thus, an excessive love for anything will cost you dear in the end. The storing up of too much goods will entail a heavy loss. To know when you've had enough is to be immune from disgrace. To know when to stop is to be preserved from perils. Only thus can you endure long. Very good one.
Thanks, Kevin. The paradoxical nature of life and its mysteries are best experienced through the ineffable space we find in our communion with the mushroom. For more than 2,000 years, the Tao Te Ching has provided guidance and instruction for exploring the paradox of existence. It is for this reason that we employ the Tao Te Ching as our primary sacred text and invite all to study it further as you delve deeper into the mystery of life. So with that, I will begin closing our service. Some announcements that are happening in Psanctuary. Let me pull up my notes. March 12th, we will have our market at the new location on Broadway from 12 to 5. We're really excited about that event. There will be some vendors there. Some of our members will be vending, as well as DJ Yared, who we saw at Bernheim. He does a lot of biofeed music. So if you'd like to learn more about that, we'll be advertising it soon, but we're really excited and hope that you can make it by if you're here close to town. March 15th is our Sacred Circle from 5:30 to 7:30 at the Broadway location. These circles currently are very free form and just an opportunity for members that are nearby to come together and talk. And it is open to non-members as well. So if you'd like to bring a friend or know someone that might benefit from just having a conversation, let them know about it. March 21st through 26th, we are having our third group retreat, which is very exciting. There are a couple spaces still available. If that's something you're interested in as a member, please reach out. I'll be happy to answer any questions that you have. If you are open to helping with any of our readings on Sundays or our meditation portion or volunteering in general, please reach out to me at info@sanctuary.org and I'll be happy to talk further with you. Let me see. So donations. If you've enjoyed the service and or community conversations, afterward, we would love if you would consider making a donation to help support the efforts of the church. All donations received gratefully go toward current programs, development, and implementation of new programs and operating expenses. And by donating, you help bring to reality the visions of Psanctuary Church. So I did want to go over some of our funds raised for specific items in the new space. So we were able to currently secure our electric fireplace, 2 ottomans, a water fountain, and a rug. So yay, thank you everyone who's donated. There are still some items that we are hoping to get, including paint, a reception desk, shelving. So if we'll send out a link again in the March newsletter if you're unable to find it, but thank you so much everyone, and we're meeting those goals. And we'll put a link in the chat here once I finish up on how you can donate. So thank you everyone. Memberships. Our community consists of families and individuals from all walks of life and is open to individuals from any faith or background, and our growing list of integration coaches and therapists. If you, like many others throughout history, hold these mushrooms as a sacrament for sincere and intentional spiritual practice and would like to be a part of this community, we invite you to head over to our membership application page and begin the membership process. You should see a link in the chat here in a moment. Becoming a member is a 5-step process, which includes a discovery call with us. Members of Psanctuary Church have access to our growing list of integration coaches and therapists, members only events, including sacrament opportunities, our membership portal, and our members only Discord chat, which is a daily connection with the community. It's a really great place. If you're a current member and you'd like to get in on that Discord chat, let me know and I can help you there. So with that said, I'd like to officially close out our service portion for today, recognizing we've come together with intentions of service to the land and all its inhabitants. It is in our hearts to go forth into the world with the collective consciousness. And we encourage you to stay for continued fellowship and conversation around our readings today. And for those unable to stay, we thank you for being with us. As we further our conversation, please remember all perspectives are welcome as we search for the spiritual truth that unites us all. Thank you, everyone. I'll end our recording.